So we're going to start with a job status report. That's the first report we're going to build. Again, this only works in QuickBooks Online Advanced. You need to use sub-customers, not projects. You're going to use the customer contact list report with custom fields to see your job status report. You're going to filter customer type, customer versus job. I'll explain that in a minute. It will make tons of sense. And you're going to create customer level custom fields like start date, job status, job type, job description, completion date, that sort of thing. So let's jump over to QuickBooks. So we're working with QuickBooks Online Advanced because we're going to be doing custom fields. We're going to click on the gear menu on the top right, and then we're going to go to custom fields. Inside custom fields, we're going to create a plethora of fields that are going to be customer level. So for example, when you click on add field, you get to choose the type of field. Is it text? Is it number? Is it date? Is it drop down? I'm actually going to show you that I'm using all 4 of these options across the board. I'm going to select customer and not transaction, because transaction, that information would only live in an invoice, in an estimate, in a purchase order, that sort of thing. But a job status is not something that should live in a transaction, because you can have multiple estimates for a customer. You can have multiple invoices for a customer. You can have multiple bills related to job costing, and you don't want to have job status information sitting in a transaction. You need it to sit in the customer itself or the sub-customer, to be more exact. So that's where we're going to use the customer option. Now I'm going to show you the ones I created already. So I created one called actual cost updated. I made it a date type field. Okay, and you will know what that means. And I made it a customer type of field. If we look at the next one, I created a custom field called actual cost dollar amount. It is a number only data type and is a customer type of field. Then I created one called projected cost dollar amount, which is a number only data type and is a customers only custom field. Then I created one called job type, which is a drop down version. And I created 3 options: commercial, residential, government. In the construction world, you might have options like remodeling or repair, or new construction spec, new construction custom. So there's all sorts of interesting things that you can create in terms of group. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to group those customers together, right? Okay, we click on save. Then the next one is job. That was job type. Job description. This is a text and number data field. So this is basically anything I want to type in there. Job description, and it's a customer only custom field. Then I have completion date. We can also put estimated completion date, and that says is a date type of custom field. I'm going to create one for actual completion date. So I'm going to click on add field. We're going to call this actual completion date. And we're going to select date, and it's going to be a customer level. And I don't need to put it in any of these in here. Okay. I'm going to click on save. And there's my estimated completion date. Let me click on refresh so it shows up. Okay. And then keep in mind, as you create these things, you're going to get pretty close to that 12. Notice I got 10 out of 12 in there, right? So I kind of want to make sure that I don't run into that limit, or I need to think about where, what those 12 are going to be. Then I have projected or project start date or projected start date, and a customer level field. Then I have job number. And the reason why I have job number is because sometimes I like to have a clean field just for my numerical job number. And then we have account manager, which you can also have like job foreman or something like that. Or let's say GC assigned to job or whatever, right? So you pick whatever you want and do a drop down list and add all my potential options when it comes to my GC. So that's the setup, right? We're going to have a whole bunch of custom fields. They're all customer level custom fields. And there's a combination. You see dates, numbers, free text, drop down. You see all the different options. Now, where do we manipulate that data? So I'm going to go into sales. I'm going to go into customers. And then you're going to notice that I have two customers. I got customer ABC and the downtown, local, or whatever sub customer. Then I have enterprise XYC and then the roof project sub customer. I'll create another one just so we can kind of sort of continue here. So I'm going to create one called new bathroom, and I'm going to make this a sub customer of customer ABC. Notice I'm not using projects, I'm using sub customer. And then I click on save. And then I'm going to go back to customers, and then I'll create another one. Let's call it, I'm going to call it Pergola job. And we'll put that as a sub customer of my other one of Enterprise XYC. So pretty clear. We got customers and sub customers. Again, we are not using projects. If I go into projects, my projects are blank. I'm completely ignoring projects for this. And the primary reason is because I cannot store custom field data in projects, which makes projects useless pretty much. I mean, as a whole, as an entire concept in the QuickBooks Online world, projects are useless because I can't leverage this stuff like the custom fields, right? The other thing that I want to do is I want to go into customer types, and then I want to create two customer types. One is going to be called customer, and the other one's going to be called job. I know that's a weird, strange thing to do, but trust me, this is going to make tons of sense when it comes to the reports I am creating. So I got customer, and then I got job. So I'm going to go back, okay, and I'm going to make sure that both of these jobs, and then both of these jobs, and again, I'm calling sub customers jobs. I'm going to click on batch actions, and I'm going to click on select customer type, and I'm going to make all these jobs. Again, this is a custom field. Sorry, not a custom field. This is a customer type field, which we could be used in any free form that you want. But I'm making the sub customers, I'm calling them jobs just for my own reference. And then I'm going to make sure that both of the high level customers, I'm going to click on select customer type, and I'm going to make that customer and then click on apply. Why in the world am I doing this? What the heck is the value of this? Well, I can actually enable customer type in here in this screen. And as I'm looking at all of my customers, okay, I can see, let me just hit refresh here and then zoom out a little bit. So as I'm looking at all my customers, all my jobs, I can choose what fields I want to see. So if I click on the gear menu, I can choose what type of information I want to see. So let's say that for the time being, I only want to see my customer, the customer type, which is basically customer and a job, and I want to know the job status. So very, very simple. Where's my job status? Did I even create one for job status? I didn't. Let's do job type. Let's do GC assigned to the job. Let's do job number. And we also need job status. We'll create that one in a second, okay? So that's basically sort of a high-level overview where I can kind of see information about my customers and my jobs all in this screen, okay? Now, where this comes into play is we're going to run a report. I'm going to go into reports. Then I'm going to go into a report that you probably have never even bothered to look at because it's a pretty useless report, which is a customer contact list. So I'm going to go into my customer contact list, and I'm going to have a list of all my customers, all my contacts, right? Now, let's say I don't want to see the customer because it basically adds another line, and I got 4 jobs, right? It's going to be a job status report. So I don't want to see the customer. So what do? I go to customize, I go to filter, I go into customer type, and you guessed it, this is where the handy customer type job comes in. Then I click on run report, and boom, I'm only seeing my jobs. I no longer have to see that customer kind of bothering me. So that makes things a lot easier, okay? The other thing that we can do is I'm going to click on the gear menu, and then if you remember, I had a custom field called job number. So let's enable that one called job number. And that's the one where I'm only going to put my numerical job number. And then what I'll do is I'll click on reorder columns down here in the bottom, and I'll put my job first. Okay. I'm going to get rid of phone number, get rid of email, get rid of full name, get rid of shipping address, billing address, and then click on run report. So what do I have here? I have my job number. I have my customer next to it. Let me click on the gear menu and let me enable all the custom fields we just created. So actual cost, job type, projected cost, estimated completion, job completion, actual, like so basically all these things, I'm gonna enable all the custom fields. So what happens? All of a sudden, I got like a real job status report, or at least getting really close to it. Okay. Now I'm gonna click on customize. Let's change the title of this report. Give me a second. Oh, showing me, not showing me the header right here. So we're going to call this job status report. Perfect. Now I'm going to click on save customization. We're going to call it job status report. And there it is. Okay. Now some of these customers are missing job numbers and all this information. So what would I do? I go into customers. I go into each one of my customers, edit them, and then go into where it says custom fields. And then here's where I add the information. So I'm going to assign the GC to the job. This is going to be job 10102. This project is going to start May the 27th. Estimated completion date is, let's say, July 15th. Job description, we're going to say upstairs bathroom, dual showers, or whatever, right? Job type, let's say this is a residential. Projected cost, let's say my projected cost for this job is 5,000. The actual cost, let's say I don't have that information for now. And I updated my actual cost today. So well, let's say I updated it the 18th. So far I don't know how much I have. So I'm just going to put 0, and I'm just going to let the user know, hey, last time I went in and checked my actual cost was on the 18th. Actual completion date, we'll leave that blank. Then I click on save. Then we go to the next job. Let's go to pergola job, and let's go to edit. And then we'll go back into custom field, and then we're going to fill this out. So let's say Steve is assigned to this job. This is job 103. This project started, let's say, back in April 1st. Estimated completion date, this is coming up, May 31st. Job description, we can put aluminum pergola 20 by 20, whatever you want to put in there. Let's say this is a commercial job. Projected cost for this is 16,000. Actual cost to date, we'll leave it at 0 for now, just so I can show you how we update that information. And yeah, that's it. It's perfect. So we'll click on save. Okay. Let's go to the roof project. We're going to click on edit. We're going to go to custom fields. Let's say that we have Mary, job 104. Project start date. This is going to start, let's say, in July 1st. Estimated completion date. This is going to take a while. This will be September 30th. Job description would be new roof plus solar panel. Job type, this is commercial. And projected cost, let's say, is 29,000. Actual cost 0. And we updated that last on the 17th. Then we click on save. So now you start kind of seeing how this works. I go back to my report. I had saved and created, click on run. So now I got job number, customer name, actual cost. Now I'm getting information that is really, really useful. Okay. So I can click on the gear menu and maybe get rid of some of these things I don't need. I don't need the customer name. Okay. And I can just also reorder that. Let's do some reordering here. So I'm going to click on reorder columns. Then I'm going to bring job description to be secondary to job number. Then I'm going to bring estimated completion date. That might be the next one that we want to do. So we'll do estimated completion date after job description. Then we want to know who the GC is. Okay. Then we want to know the job type. Then we want to look at maybe last time the actual costs were updated, actual cost versus projected cost, actual completion date, and project start date. So we can work off these data points, click on run report, click on refresh. And now we have the report possibly much closer to how we want it, right? We got a job number, we got a job description, we got estimated completion date. Okay, all this stuff is really valuable. And then on the grouping, this is where the grouping becomes really, really neat because I can group these by job type, for example. Click on run report, and now my jobs are grouped by job type. Or I can group it by project start date. Okay, that's going to be grouping it by date. Unfortunately, it doesn't do monthly grouping yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come up at some point. But this will group it by date. Okay, by estimated completion date. Okay, same thing. So that will organize it based on estimated completion date. Okay, I don't have to group them. I can just have them ungrouped, but then I can sort them based on estimated completion date. Where is it? Okay, and then that will give me a general idea of what is due next, right? So all sorts of ways you can organize your job cost report. This report, it's pretty brilliant. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I came up with it. I'm just saying that it gets to the point where this is actually useful. Okay. But there's another really important thing about a job status, which is sort of what stage it is in or what percentage of completion it is. So we can also add those two additional custom fields. So I'm going to click on the gear menu, click on custom fields, and we're going to create another custom field, and we're going to call this stage, and we're going to do a customer level. Then we'll do a drop down list. And usually what I like to do is I like to add a number on stages. So I'm going to put 0 and put bidding, right? Bidding pending or something like that. Then stage 1, deposit received. Let's say stage 2, job started. Let's do stage 3, near completion. Stage 4, waiting for certificate of occupancy. Stage 5, let's say completed CO, and then stage 6, pending, let's say payment or other, something like that, right? So we can have this weird sort of stage 6 that the job has been completed, but there's other things involved with the job or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to click on save, and there's my stage. And again, I chose to use numbers to also make it easy and simple for the user to know, okay, this is moving across stages. Something kind of interesting to think about. Okay, the other thing that we can do here is we can add another field, and we can call it percent completed. Okay, and then we'll add that as a number only and customer. Then we'll click on save, and that's it. We used all of our sorry, you gotta start with completed percent. I forgot about that. I have to write the word percent. Okay, so completed percent, and that's it. We used up all of our customer only custom fields, right? So we're gonna go back into our customer list. I'm gonna go into one of my jobs, edit the job, go to custom field, and then change the stage. So let's say this one is at deposit received. Then I'm going to go to the other one here, click on edit, and let's say custom fields. This one is at job started. And let's go to the next one. Let's click on drop down, custom fields. Let's say this one is near completion. And let's say the last one, it's still in the bidding stage. Okay, so bidding stage, we'll put 0% completed. The pergola job, we'll go back and let's say this is near completion. We're going to call this 75% completed. The new bathroom job, just going back into that, let's say that's job started. So we're going to call this 10% completed. Again, you will have your own process for that. And let's say the downtown location one, it's going to be deposit received. They say a 0% completed. So now we can go. I keep forgetting I can't put percentages in there. So I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to go back into my job status report. Let's go back into reports. We had that report saved already. Reports, we're going to go to custom reports, and we're going to go to our job status report, open that, and then we're going to click on customize report, and we're going to bring in actually not customize. We have to click on the little small gear, expand that, and bring the new fields. Okay. So I'm going to click on the gear menu. I'm going to bring in the stage and the percent complete. And let's say for now, let's get rid of actual completed date. So we have one called actual completion date, and get rid of that. And then we'll refresh the report one more time. Okay. To make sure that those fields are showing. So completed percent, that was one of them. And the other one was stage. Okay. So there they are. So what kind of things I can do? Let me refresh the screen. I can group these by the stage that they're in, right? So I can click on the drop-down menu and then click on stage, then click on run. Then these are all grouped by stage. Okay, just kind of an example, right, of how this stuff will work. Okay, so if you got any questions about this, now's a good time to ask them before I move on to the next part of this. For any questions about the general construction of the job status report. Okay, while those questions come in the live chat, while we're doing the live Zoom, I'm going to show you now what this projected costs and actual cost number means and why that would have any sort of meaning. So I'm going to run this report again. I'm going to click on customize. I'm going to go to filter, and then I'm going to go look at my stage custom field. Where's my stage custom field? And I only want to show jobs in a particular stage. I just kind of want to show you. So if you only want to look at a particular stage of the job, so I only want to look at bidding and pending, click on run report, and we do that, right? Then if I only want to see deposit received or whatever, then we'll do that. So that's actually one of the really cool features about building that, where I can just filter the particular stage. I can get rid of that if I just want to see all of them. Okay. So what would you do with actual cost versus project cost? So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's say, for example, I'll start having some costs related to these projects. So let's say I go to Home Depot and back in the beginning of May, I have a bill against materials for $8,500 against my downtown location. Let's just pick a different one. Let's pick the roof project job, and then here we'll put tiles or whatever. Then we click on save. All right, so let's do another bill, a different bill. Okay, so I went to another materials provider, whatever it is. This is also materials. And this is going to be, let's say, glue and asphalt, right? Whatever it is, right? I don't know anything about roofing, so I don't know if you even use those things. But and let's say this is 19,000 and 19,000, and this is for that roof project. Then I click on save. Now, what happens with this is I can now run a report, a simple P&L by job report or something like that. I go to reports, and then I'm going to put here customer, and I can do a P&L by customer simply, and then I can see whatever cost I have for that roof project. So for that roof project, I have built or have acquired $27,000 worth of materials so far. So what I do is I take the 27,500, I take that number and I update my job information. So I'm going to go into my roof project, go in it, and go to edit, and then go to custom field, and then go to actual cost and put the 27,500, And the last time I updated my actual cost was today, and click on save. So why is that useful? Because then when I run my reports, I'm going to go back into my job status report. I now see that my actual cost is 27,500 versus 29,000. Now, what would I do with that information? Well, I could export this to Excel. Okay, a simple Excel spreadsheet that contains all my information. Since we know that QuickBooks is not going to be good at giving me uh, the job cost reports that I want, I'm going to make this Excel text a lot bigger so you can see it. But since we know we're not going to get sort of the work in progress type of reports, well, we'll leverage this information. So we'll come in here, create a new column, and then simply divide actual costs versus my projected costs. And there we go. Here's my percent of completion. Very simple hack to get my percentage of completion into Excel from QuickBooks. Again, based on the actual cost that I'm tracking in the profit and loss, and then I'm using that to compare it against my projected cost. There's no place in QuickBooks to record, in QuickBooks Online anyway, to record projected costs. Only QuickBooks Desktop has such a tool. So that custom field could be the place where you just put that number in there. You're not going to get it at the item level, but I now have my percentage. So I can go back and update my two jobs to downtown location is at 94% and my roof project is at 95%. So I can go back into QuickBooks and update those. So I'm going to go to my downtown location, click on edit, go to custom field, and then on my percent, this was 94%, click on save, and then I go to my roof project and then edit that, go to my custom field, and that was at 95%. Right. So now I go back into reports. I go to custom reports. I run my job report, and then I have to add that field, the percent completed field. Click on the gear menu, scroll down. There's my percent completed. I'm going to click on reorder columns. I'm going to bring that pretty much next to customer and job number. I'll click on run report and I'll save the customization so it shows up next time. And there we go. I got my job number, my customer, my percent completed. It's a beautiful thing. Really, truly, it's a beautiful thing. It works really, really well, really nice. And then because I can break them down by stage, now I can look at the percent completed on each of the stage. Obviously, there's something wrong with a job in bidding pending status at 95 complete, of course. But then we will go back into that job. Let's go into customers and my downtown location job. We're going to change that custom field, right? So we can't change it from this screen. I wish we could. At some point, it would be awesome if the drop-down menus were available right here. But you still have to click on edit. Unfortunately, there's still one more step you have to do. Click on custom fields, and then let's say this is at near completion. Save, and then I go back into my report, refresh that, and now we have two jobs on near completion with their percent completed. So that's the beauty of QuickBooks Online Advanced and